ho! Merry Christmas, kids!
The Sonic OVA has a nice level in it, therefore it's not gay. I'm gonna talk about it during Christmas. I'm not gay. I'm not gay, okay? I'm not gay. Stop it. I'm not gay. Fuck. The first time I watched the Sonic OVA, I was a little drooling, stupid f***ing teenager. And I immediately hated Sonic's garbly f***ing... So I watched the sub. I feel like a lot of people must have been in the same camp. If you're not aware, there's like kind of two versions of Sonic. It's literally why they split them up into modern and classic Sonic. There's classic, Jaleel White.
Yo, what's up, Tails? I'm gonna infiltrate Antifa and free all the slaves.
And then there's modern Sonic.
Yo, what's up, Tails? I'm gonna infiltrate Antifa and free all the slaves.
There's this meme online where people call Sonic a light skin, and I kind of get it. Like, this kid does light skin faces, but I really see it more with classic Sonic. The isn't really something he tries to show off in classic. It's just him. He's just him. He doesn't give a fuck what you think of him. Modern Sonic kind of reminds me more of like a school white boy, or like what a school white boy like thinks that the cool kids are. Modern Sonic looks more like anime teleports behind you Sonic. The point is, I grew up on modern Sonic. The Sonic that started in Sonic Adventure. I never not knew a Shadow the Hedgehog. I never got to have a Richard Kuda spaz out when they changed his name from Robotnik to Eggman.
I did not have any feelings of nostalgia.
The motherfucker was just always Eggman to me. So to me, seeing this shit was a little bit weird.
Why the fuck does Sonic talk like this? My name's Sonic, and you touch my daughter, I'm fucking get mad. I'm a spit dance in your asshole, boy. Don't touch my daughter.
So as a teenager, I really didn't like this, but as an adult who's kind of just gotten over like wanting to be a Shadow the Hedgehog, a Kotsky wheeling fucking.
Don't come to school tomorrow. I just made $20 working at McDonald's. I'm gonna buy a goddamn Yu-Gi-Oh card and banish you to the Shadow Realm.
You know, that kind of person has like kind of left, or maybe just laid dormant. I don't know. Interacting with this Sonic now that I can appreciate more goofy, kid-friendly shit is really fun. I really love this voice for Sonic.
Beat you, bomb, nigga!
We don't have time to play little.
It's not Jaleel White. It's kind of its own thing. It's really like pouty. I don't know how to describe it. Goofy, and it sells this really like loose, fun cartoon world. But the standout here is Tails. This might actually be my favorite Sonic voice.
I'll fix it for you.
And that is literally just because he says Sonic in the exact same way I do.
Sonic, are you alright, Sonic?
It's not just the voices. I love the characterization in this movie. These two are so fucking adorable together. They really capture Sonic's like aloofness, which I think is a lot more present in the classic era. Like, he just does not give a fuck about anything. But when push comes to shove, he's here to save the day. Like, that's just kind of his job. Who else is gonna do it? And Tails is just this adorable little goofball that just loves him to death. Despite kind of having to be his like autistic handler, like Sonic won't do anything half the time and Tails is like, motherfucker, if you don't get up.
You're the one who can fly. You do something. Go help!
I think it's really interesting that in the movie the two fight as a pair a lot. This is pre-Tails having his little character arc in Sonic Adventure where he's like, I'm the same as Sonic! I can fucking take on anyone! Light all these motherfuckers in the jailhouse up! We gotta see who's the strongest one! And that's how Tails became the booty warrior. The story starts out with these two motherfuckers just hanging out on their floating island. Holy shit, I've mentioned it before. I love this aesthetic. I'm literally making a game with this aesthetic. This old owl man crashes into the island. He's a character. He's like, you guys need to go talk to the president. And this is, again, pre-Sonic Adventure. Sonic was not literally set in what I think is America yet. He didn't live in an apartment in San Francisco, or I think Sonic's homeless, I don't know. He didn't bum around San Francisco like generally most people do in California, just sleeping on the streets, harassing Tom Cruise for cigarettes, getting roped into Scientology. I gotta check out California. That place sounds amazing. So they talk to the president, who is Robotnik, because he's got the president held up by some fucking robots. Also, this girl with the tail, she is the president's daughter. Her name is Sarah. The only thing I really found out about her while researching for this video is that her voice actor is a black lady, which is really fucking cool. I'm pretty sure there still aren't a lot of black voice actors. To have that happen back then, really fucking cool. She can still do the voice really well.
You better keep your hands off my Sonic or I'll never forgive you.
And she watches this movie a lot with her nephew, which I think is so cute. And also Sarah seems to like kind of be in love with Sonic, so we were already, this was a second draft. This was the second time they did this. But basically, Eggman, while holding these two world leaders hostage, says very calmly, Sonic, I'm not here for violence. I just have a little question for you, just a little request. You see, Sonic, Black Eggman has taken over Eggman Land. Now, they don't call him Black Eggman in the dub because in English, we're not racist. That's a sub-exclusive thing. We call him Metal Eggman, which metal came from rock, and rock is a black art, so they're still being racist, but they just don't realize it. But yeah, Chicken Chomper Eggman's causing a huge fucking ruckus down in Eggman land. And Eggman really wants Sonic to stop him. He says he's the only one that can. He's got this evil plan to charge Robotropolis with horrible electricity that's gonna destroy the planet or some shit like that. And he drops this really interesting lore bit that I really love. We've seen these floating islands so far. Apparently the world we've been in is called the Land of the Sky. And Eggman Land is down in this dark little asshole of the planet called the Land of Darkness. And Sonic is of course like, why the fuck are we just gonna blindly listen to Robotnik? He's a fucking psychopath. And Tails is like, well, what if he's telling the truth? And Sonic says, okay, yeah, let's go. This is a thing that I really love about this movie, and I feel like it probably pissed a lot of adults off watching it. It's very much just a fun cartoon. It's not Shadow the Hedgehog, Sasuke Uchiha anime series. Like, it's never touching on any deeper, darker themes. It is literally just this fun little fantasy world that you can kind of just sit in. And I always talk about how much I hate escapism, but escapism is important. And I don't know, when it's just escapism, it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, it's a fucking kids movie. I'm not always being an asshole about that. I actually started rewatching this movie to help myself go to sleep, and it's wonderful for that. It's a wonderful little dreamscape. Speaking of dreamscape, I hopefully played the musical sting when they were initially showing the Land of the Sky, but you especially notice it here. Listen to this fucking soundscape as they're descending into the Land of Darkness. The music in this movie is fucking incredible. I didn't rewatch too much of the sub for this one. I literally watched like the first 5 seconds of it, and immediately I noticed that the music here was a lot darker.
ハイパーメタルソニックよ。残るは奴のライフデータを移植するだけだ。そうすればお前は完全な姿となって目覚める。
It kind of immediately gave me this idea that, oh, I wonder if the sub tried to hammer home these darker themes a lot, because just by the music you can kind of tell that's what's happening. But I really don't care if it does, honestly. I'm not here for that. One of you motherfuckers make a video. What is the darkness of the Sonic OVA? Maybe I'll watch it and share it on the channel. I don't know. They keep exploring the Land of Darkness, and eventually they come across this giant abandoned city, and Tails calls these ruins of an ancient civilization, which immediately is like so fucking interesting. Like, did humans used to live here? Like, I know of at least 2 Sonic canons that put Sonic in a post-human society. It's the Archie one, and I'm trying to... There's one where Eggman, like, is sent 300 years into the future or something. No. I know of one Sonic canon that does that, and then I know the Richard Kuda Sonic canon that does that. That's the Richard Kuda fan movie. That is actually, I need to call a doctor. That is not good. I wish Sonic had like real ass philosophical concepts so that we could just have like a clip of me getting into an argument. Like, imagine like you have a favorite YouTuber, me, and he gets into this really awful, ugly fucking argument about the philosophical themes of Evangelion, and he accidentally starts quoting a diaper fur fanfic artist, thinking that it's real. Wouldn't that be golden? Anyway, that's beyond the point. As they prowl the streets of the ruins, they are eventually encountered by Eggman and Nick, and they fight him. And it's like a whole fight. They get stuck in some fucking cum. Knuckles flies down. Knuckles goes,
Gasp! Nunda! But I can face it.
and of course Eggman gets canceled. He's defeated.
What's so wrong about dressing up like you people?
Oh wow, okay, Eggman. Alright, cool.
Let's blackface Sonic.
Also, there's been this weird thing where, like, before Eggman gets into Black Eggman, he's playing video games with Sarah. And I'm pretty sure this is, like, only a dub thing. But, like, he's like, I want to stop playing video games. And she says, I'll stop being your hostage, like, implying that she has control. And it really makes you think, like, okay, is Sarah and the president, like, in on whatever Eggman's doing? And then Eggman, like, takes Sarah into Black Eggman to attack Sonic because she wants to go on, like, a joyride. Which really makes you think that, but no, that's not it at all. Sarah's just a fucking brat, and they are actually hostages. I don't know, it's weird. It's the kind of quirky shit I really love about this movie. Anyway, Knuckles kills those motherfuckers. He fucking murders them. Sarah's dead. Stupid bitch. And Eggman's an Eggman pie.
Yosh.
Knuckles is, of course, wearing his iconic hat and also just using this weird... I don't know what to describe Knuckles' voice as.
Hurry and save Sonic!
I remember not liking it because Knuckles has this like baritone-ass Piccolo voice.
I am a method actor, sir. So of course I was completely naked when we recorded, aside from an enormous pair of poofy white gloves. It was the most exhilarating acting experience of my life.
And in this, he just sounds like a random cartoon character. Like, I don't know. I didn't hate this voice this time that I watched it, but I don't know what to even say about it. It's goofy like the rest, but like not in a way that like kind of stands out or adds anything to his character. They make it to the center of Eggman Land. They make it to the generator that Black Eggman was supposed to have like overridden and destroyed. And they think they turn it off, and then they don't. And it steals Sonic's fucking cum. His DNA, so is his DNA. Don't call everything cum. Cum is not this quintessential element that's within every living thing. It is just semen. Thank you, this is a lesson with Cobra Starships. You're now more intelligent. So stop watching my channel. Go watch like PBS now. But yeah, it steals his cum and injects it into itself. And then the machine whizzes and whirs and cracketh open the machine. Out poppeth Hyper Metal Sonic. And he beats the fucking shit out of Sonic. He throws him in the fucking turlet, and he flies away. I don't know, I'm probably misremembering shit. He flies away. And this is usually the part where I fall asleep. I think I've only watched through this, like, next part once, so this is probably gonna get a little hazy. Sonic Team goes back to his weird junk core island base. The president and the United Nations or whatever are like looking into what is Metal Sonic doing. And you know what he's doing? He's at the ice cap zone at the top of the planet. And there's a volcano there in the ice. And the main point is that if Metal Sonic attacks this volcano, it's gonna make the lava flow all over the land of the sky and destroy everything and kill everybody. And that's bad. So Sonic and his motley crew, they fly up there. They have one final bout with Metal Sonic. Eggman says something like, once Metal Sonic destroys the world, I'm gonna marry this teenager. And everybody goes like, excuse me? No, I'm kidding, they don't. It's Japan. That's actually funny. Remember, kids, see, when I say heinous things, you're supposed to go like, oh my god, that's disgusting. What the fuck? Why the fuck are you still talking? But in Japan, I'm actually hilarious. They go, ooh, loud brown boy, he's a racist. Sonic and Metal Sonic fight. Their minds seem to sync up. They seem to be like copying each other's every single move. Because Metal Sonic literally has some of Sonic's bio data. He literally understands Sonic at a fundamental level. And because of this, Sonic also understands Metal Sonic because he's operating off of his bio data. We get the famous line,
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
which again, since I watched this in a sub as a kid, people would always ask me like, hey, you've seen the Sonic OVA, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. And then they would say that and I just didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. This is why I don't ever do shit the weird or unorthodox way, kids, because when people try to talk to you, they'll look at you like you're a fucking psycho. Same thing, if you get into anime, you have to watch Naruto. Every time someone tries to talk to you about anime, they'll try to talk to you about Naruto. Like, you're just supposed to kill yourself right there. Like, right in front of them. That way, they'll never ask that question again. You've just solved, like, a huge problem. No one should be talking about anime. That's just proven science. Facts don't care about your feelings. Look at this graph. I made it up. They have this great, big, horrible battle, and the theme of these two being the same person, kind of, it just keeps getting hammered in more and more. I think Metal Sonic says something about there can only be one Sonic and that's why he has to eliminate Sonic. And then at some point, the president and Sarah's life gets endangered. And Metal Sonic, again, syncing more and more with Sonic, springs into action, stops the fight to save them. And in doing so, ends up falling into the lava. And Sonic realizes like, oh shit, he's kind of a good guy. Sonic goes into the volcano to try to save Metal Sonic and he slaps his hand away and says, and then what I've done plays, the movie fucking ends. I've been passed out for like 30 minutes at this point. Here's the thing. This released as like a 2-episode OVA from what I could find. Apparently it was supposed to be the pilot for a whole Sonic anime. I don't know if that's true. Again, I don't really care. It would have been a really cool anime, and that's more of what I care about. This version of Sonic's world that gets presented in this movie is so fucking cool and interesting. Especially as someone who loves like Sky Islands and like high fantasy shit. I really love this concept of the dual world. Sonic running through floating islands, kind of explaining why those exist in his platforming levels. And again, we could speculate all day. Was that the original intention? I don't care. Again, make that video. Maybe I'll share it. What I want to talk about is, are there more explorations of this idea? And unfortunately, I didn't find very many. So I decided to make my own, actually. Here, let me present to you. I made a little, like, just a short little, like, treatment of fanfic of how we could explore more of this. Here we go. Once upon a time, Sonic was on fire.
Ah, you're on fire, Sonic!
Tails said,
Sonic, my boyfriend, why are you not on fire, my boyfriend? I was sketching with my big anime breasts, my boyfriend!
You can't do that, Sarah. Standards and practices.
Standards and practices, oh no! Sonic, we're gonna do an academy with it today!
But Sarah, the director's an American.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry! I know to fix this right away! Better?
much better, but this introduces conflict. You see, Metal Sonic's dead, and now this bitch is here, and that can only mean one thing. Dun dun dun! Oh! It is I!
Oh my god, Sonic! He looks just like you! No, he doesn't.
It is I, your evil doppelganger!
Sonic! He doesn't look anything like me!
I am you, but evil.
See? He's 20 feet tall, Tails!
22!
But he's a hedgehog! What's that supposed to be?
Sonic, this is a new path to overcome. Me, your darker half, Shadow Hernandez. I am coming at you now to kill you. In Chaos Sphere! Ah! Ah! Ah!
What was that?
The power of an ultimate life form.
Was that supposed to kill me?
No.
It looks like it was.
No, it was not.
You need to be careful. Yeah, you'll put someone's eye out with that.
Okay, I am sorry.
The Land of Darkness.
Now, if that didn't do enough for you, I'm not gonna write another one. I do have a video game I'm working on that explores Sky Islands. And I will probably explore like a land underneath at some point in that story. I don't know. But after I wrote that piece of shit, I kept looking. And I don't think I found exactly what I wanted, but I found some pretty cool shit. There's this poster that someone made, which is basically just like a mashup of the actual live-action Sonic 2 movie in the classic style. I didn't actually realize this was based on the Sonic 2 movie until I read the description. I had this other take where I was just like, yeah, there's just this slack-jawed weirdo and this buxom ebony goddess over here. I don't know what that is. I do really like the idea of Sonic's dad in the movie trying to have like a serious conversation about this weird half-furry princess girl trying to ride his f***ing quills. It sounds like that would be the most hilarious thing in that movie. Now, Sonic, it is illegal, technically, for humans and animals to have relations, but you gotta remember, she's a white girl, so she actually gets religious protections from that. Then there is this animated trailer for a sequel to the OVA made by a Russian studio, which means you have to turn off the auto-dubbing because YouTube is fucking horrible. And it looks impressive. My expectation for Russian animation is literally Morshu, so like, I wasn't sure what to expect. This actually makes a lot of sense. It feels like overly smooth in the way that something like Family Guy, that's like basically made with a bunch of plugins would. But there is really interesting animation on this thing. I really like it. The cream of the crop, the best thing I found was actually a whole ass Wattpad fanfiction. And I really fucking expected it to just be doo-doo garbage, but it was better than I thought. It was better. It was better than I thought. Does it capture the world of the Sonic OVA well? It's not horrible. It uses it. Not well. I don't know. This thing is weird. I enjoy this fanfiction. We're gonna talk about it now. I think it's kind of interesting. Strap in. The circumcised of you in the audience may be familiar with this, but for the uncircumcised, Sonic used to have the longest running comic series fucking ever. Longest in like the longest unbroken story. And they ran up until Pender Sex Offender did some Pender Sex Offender type shit. It actually wasn't sex offense. This is actually like a footnote in his long history of being a fucking weirdo. But the Archie Comics had a spin-off comic where they would explore little less explored parts of their Sonic world called Sonic Universe. And in issue 41, published on June 12th, they debuted a character called Shard the Metal Sonic. And I don't know shit about this guy. I literally looked at the Wikipedia page for this video. The things I do know is that he was the original Metal Sonic that ended up progressing into a good guy. And notably, like I said, at the end of the Sonic OVA, Metal Sonic kinda shows that he's become a little bit of a good guy. And so 1 year after this comic comes out, an evil fucking monster from beyond the stars in a horrible realm called fanfiction.net, which is way more terrifying than the Land of Darkness could ever be. A character by the name of Lordius Danius, am I saying that right? Publishes a fanfic which follows the Sonic OVA's defeat of Metal Sonic in a very similar form to how the Archie comics handled him. Literally taking that moment of good that he showed at the end and expanding it into a whole character arc and turning him into Shard the Metal Sonic. And this is where the problem comes. I really wanted to explore more of the world, and this is more exploring this single character, who is part of the world. I'll fucking take it. It's one small step for autism, maybe maybe it'll lead to one giant leap for autism kind. The story starts literally with a text recreation of the ending of the Sonic OVA where Metal Sonic falls into the lava. And this scene will become incredibly important. Also, I do want to mention, like, so most of this fanfic I read at work in between, like, reading Naruto. And there was a point when this dude asked me what I was reading. And, like, thank God I was on Naruto at that point. Because imagine, like, you're 30 years old. This guy is, like, friendly to you at your job. He seems a little bit nerdy, but not, like, super fucking autistic like you are. And he sees you reading a lot on your phone. He's like, what are you reading, man? And you say a Sonic fanfic. Now, what do you think happens then? This is really just kind of a fun, goofy read-through. It's the kind of, like, fun, dumb adventure that's the Sonic OVA actually is. I really love it for that. And, you know, it's a fanfic. There are a ton of fanficisms. I think those honestly help a lot with, like, setting that tone. Because I don't really think it was intended to be that goofy. It really feels like it's trying to explore the character's emotions, but this really helps it keep it kind of light and, like, not too serious. Like, listen to it. Sonic then saw something flying from the sky towards him. At first he assumed it was a threat, but then he realized it was only Knuckles. I was just exploring possible changes in the land of the sky, Knuckles answered, but that's not why I'm here. I found Metal Sonic's remains there, and inside his chest was this. Like, doesn't that read like a fucking Sonic OVA line? Tails, you remember that I had that mind connection with Metal, right? Sonic began. Yeah, so? Well, I still am connected. We both feel the exact same emotions. Even though most of the time I'm happy, I can still feel Metal's regret. Also, there's just this thing. So, like, this starts with Shard saying it, but Eggman does this so much. They have this this like action that the characters do sometimes called snickering. Shard walked over to him, snickering a little. What's the matter, Junior? That's a line that just, I don't know what that means. I don't want to know what that means. So this fanfic starts off with Knuckles just flying around the ice cap zone, which I don't think is actually what it's called. He finds the remains of Hyper Metal Sonic and they seem to be making some reaction. So he fucking euthanizes him. Knuckles scratched his head, debating whether to just leave the situation as if it never happened, destroy Metal's remains, or find a way on discovering what was up with the Metal. He then made the decision. The Echidna raised his fist, hitting Metal's chest. I actually just read the lines from my script that are, like, from the story, so yeah, that'll make it a little bit easier, and also, like, you can't see that I don't have eyebrows. So yeah, Knuckles takes the chip back to Tails and Sonic, and he just gives it to them. He's like, do what you want to fucking do with this. I don't know what's going on. When Knuckles arrives, Sonic is eating a giant fucking plate of chili dogs. This is another common thing that happens in this comic. Like, you notice I didn't bring up chili dogs at all in the OVA. That's because it didn't happen, but Sonic is constantly snarfing down plates full of chili dogs. Like fucking Kirby or something. It's so funny. I know this is a thing, like, in the show, but it's so funny seeing it written out as, like, every scene Sonic's just like, oh. Anyway, what's going on? And we learned two things here. One, there's been a 7-year time skip. Sonic was 8 in the Sonic OVA, according to this thing. I don't think that's true. And he is now 15. He's modern Sonic, essentially, in this story. He literally has a homing attack that he uses a lot. Like, it's just modern Sonic, just in this weird version of the Sonic world, which I kind of dig that. So that's one thing. The second thing that they add is that the way that Sonic and Metal Sonic were, like, kind of connecting because of Metal Sonic having Sonic's DNA, that wasn't, like, just, like, a metaphysical, like, weird phenomenon that was happening as they were fighting. It is now canon that was Metal Sonic and Sonic having a psychic link together. There is literally a part of this where they describe Sonic reading Metal's mind. So Sonic can, like, feel Metal Sonic's emotions, which is dumb. That is dumb. And I'm being mean. I do just want to express, this is why I think fanfic is kind of valuable. The thing with, like, seeing these really unrefined artists that, like, don't take writing too seriously or, like, don't have the capability of writing anything serious at this point. A lot of these unrefined artists, I think, are more indicative of, like, things that the common person thinks about these things. And there is a very real common phenomenon of people trying to over-literalize things within media. A lot of people, like, can't wrap their heads around things that are more abstract. If you want an example of this, like, I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, but this is literally every person I hear refuting Kingdom Hearts criticisms. Like, Kingdom Hearts, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of logical sense when you really think about it, but when you're playing it, it's like, oh no, I'm just experiencing the emotions of the characters. And I think the reason a lot of people do this is because they want to have an escape into these worlds. They want them to feel tangible and realistic, and they're not. Realism is not what makes a story good. I don't actually know what the fuck makes a story good. I don't think anyone does. But I know a good way to make your story effective is to give emotional resonance. That moment when Metal Sonic's ego of trying to be the ultimate version of Sonic makes him realize that the ultimate version of Sonic would actually do things like save people and would give up his ego when a better version of Sonic presents himself. Like, that's a real tangible human emotion. It's not like a solid event that happened, it's an emotional process. And I don't think common audiences get that, and that makes them do things like recontextualize it as a psychic power. I want to make it clear, I'm not annoyed. I don't want to like talk down to this person or call them an idiot. One, this was like 10 years ago. They're probably a lot older and maybe a much better writer. I just think it's very interesting to look at. It's really why I usually enjoy seeing fan content, because you get a more honest depiction of the artist and their intents. It's never filtered through some corporate lens. But because I was kind of trying to give the benefit of the doubt, this second connection kind of made me read my own thing into it that just wasn't there. See, they state early on that they are 7 years into the future. So you kind of get this idea of like, oh, maybe things have been affected by the passage of time. And I kind of want to believe that, but as we'll get into, that's not real. But suffice to say, at this point in the story, what I was getting at was, oh, Metal Sonic has changed so much because his body has sat there for 7 years, kind of just feeling Sonic's emotion. So when Tails does take this biochip and inserts this thing called a power gem, which they just never explain, I'm guessing it's something from the comic, and Tails turns Metal Sonic's former data into this new robot, Shard, he acts like a completely different character from Metal Sonic. And I really wanted to believe that was just because of the passage of time. Also, there's this really, so like, they're very clear that like they don't know what the fuck is gonna happen when Shard comes online, because he literally used to be Metal Sonic. And then as they're describing how Shard gets built, they describe how Tails literally put a gun on his head. Why did they give him a strap? So Tails takes Shard over to Sonic. You find out that Shard can actually just fly like Tails, 'cause he's a robot. And this is where this thing gets like really nice for me. Shard is a very emotional character. His emotions are a little stupid sometimes, but this story is very dedicated to exploring how he reacts to different situations. They come up to Sonic, who again is gobbling chili dogs. This is another thing, I'm like, did this come up from the time skip or something? Like, they specifically say like he's a teenager, and I was like, okay, his balls just fell out of his asshole. Maybe his testosterone's going. He has to eat meat constantly. It's what they do. That's another thing that I'm like headcanoning is the reason. Tails tries to introduce Shard to Sonic, and he notices that Shard just ran the fuck away. The thing that I really love is that Sonic shows so much empathy to Shard immediately because they have this kind of connection. So eventually Shard kind of joins the motley crew. Him, Tails, and Sonic go to fight Eggman. And Eggman has actually constructed a new Metal Sonic, but he specifically made him without Sonic's DNA, so he's just a robot. Rather than copying Sonic's speed or power, he literally just built something that was fast and strong. What ends up happening is Shard and Metal Sonic actually fight each other. And not much seems to happen in this fight, but there is a point when Shard gets near lava and he freaks out. He has a whole fucking episode. This was kind of upsetting to me at first because I was really hoping that what was going to happen is they were going to explore the idea of like the inherent consciousness that robots seem to have in the Sonic universe. Instead, Shard is just randomly fucking terrified of lava, which like doesn't feel that thematic. Like I don't know what kind of story arc they're trying to build over that. He's going to be scared of lava and then he's not going to be scared of lava. But then the second fight happens and it actually does that. They literally start confronting Metal's like inherent consciousness and humanity. During Shard's fight with Metal, Shard is like damn near ready to kill Metal, but he can't. And this is the first time he acknowledges him as like his little brother. And then there's another beat in the fight when Metal now has the upper hand and he is able to kill Shard, and he can't because he's now acknowledged him as like a brother figure. Also during this fight, the new Metal Sonic can teleport, which is fucking awesome. It's not chaos control or anything, like no, he can just teleport. That's just a thing that Robotnik added to him. Now this fight really bothers Shard, and he takes it upon himself to sneak back into Eggman's base. For what? I don't really know. I don't know if he was trying to like recruit Metal Sonic or kill Metal Sonic. While sneaking into Eggman's base, he knocks a hole into his wall, and then the story literally says that he proceeded to sneak stealthily. Like, again, this is goofy OVA shit. I love love it. It's unfortunately still not doing a ton with the setting, but I mean, they mentioned a warp hole around this point. That's something that happened in the OVA. Robotnik captures Shard and reprograms him and snickers so many times between chapters 7 and 9. Like, it's everywhere. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles end up going to confront Eggman because Shard is missing, and now Shard is just straight up fucking evil. He's been completely reprogrammed. They keep trying to talk to him about, like, their friendship and how important he is to them, and Shard literally just kind of laughs it off. And the whole time, Knuckles is just like, you white people. You really took this robot that tried to kill you and tried to make him your friend. You stupid fucking white people.
When you have a real good white friend, they will go to the ends of the earth and fight anybody and protect your name at all costs, even when you don't want them to.
During the fight, there's literally a moment when Tails gets really mad and says, I knew I shouldn't have brought you back. Eventually, they do end up defeating them. Sonic knocks Shard really hard in the back of the head and he gets knocked out. And then they bring him back to the president's house for some fucking reason. I guess because he's their boss. And Shard is back to normal. And then there's this thing where, like, everyone kind of turns on Shard except for Sonic. And the, like, emotional link that Sonic has had with Shard has been removed at this point in the story, but Sonic still, like, he feels like he knows he's not a bad guy. But, like, even Tails, who really did consider him, like, a close friend, is shaken by what Shard has done. Because you gotta remember, it wasn't just that Shard was reprogrammed, he left on his own to fight the supervillain, who also had a lackey that was, like, equal in strength to him. Like, that is genuinely, like, concerning that he would do that. And at this point, this is the thing I didn't realize when I first read through. The president never knew that Shard was actually Hyper Metal Sonic, like the original Metal Sonic. And he still, like, understands everything, especially since Metal Sonic literally saved him at the end of the movie. But he's just like, hey, I'm the president, I gotta lay the law down. You were already a bad guy, you've turned into a good guy, and then done some shit that got you to hurt, like, my coworkers or my subordinates or whatever the Sonic is to the president, my son-in-law. My daughter's weird, I think I'm gonna have her euthanized. I wanna know why the president like a cat. Is he a white girl? So the president basically orders them to deactivate Shard, which is murder. And, like, Shard, like, kind of walks in on them talking about it, and they're like, oh, and he's like, I heard everything. And they're like, yeah, we have to deactivate you. And he's like, I understand. And I'm like, is this not... You're talking about euthanizing your friend against his will? Again. Remember when Knuckles did that earlier already? And, like, it's even more fucked up because they do realistically explore Shard's emotions on dying. The day had arrived quicker than Shard wanted it to. He was already awake, not daring to leave his room. He admitted it to himself. He was scared. For robots, there was no believed life after death. Organics believed that they went to a better place or that they were reborn into a new body. Robots believed that their bodies were used for scrap, maybe being turned into a toaster. No, they didn't believe that. It was true. So before Shard is euthanized, two things kind of happen. One, we kind of learn what the lava exactly symbolizes to Shard, and it's a little stupid because in this weird version of the story, that moment where he started syncing with Sonic completely changed his personality. It wasn't like a 7-year thing that slowly happened. No, in this moment where he saved the president and everybody, he completely shifted into having the same personality as Sonic. It wasn't a subtle thing. He wasn't his own character following his own directive to be like Sonic. No, he just became something analogous to, like, a completely good person in that moment. And he is scared of the lava because the lava is when that change happened. So to him, being near the lava is like being closer to being Metal Sonic. I gotta say is impressive. It makes me kind of hopeful that this person is still writing, because most of this is honestly, like, not bad. I'd give it like a C+, a B-. Like, it's an entertaining, fun story. Maybe a B. Fuck the C-. But there's things like this where it's like, that theming doesn't actually make sense in the real world. It kind of cheapens him as a character. But yeah, then during the day that Shard is, like, waiting to die, Robotnik actually sends Metal Sonic to attack them. And Metal Sonic only sees Shard at this point before Sonic and Tails come out, and he just can't. He just doesn't do anything. Again, Metal Sonic can't talk, Shard can, because Tails changed his body. Metal just kind of, like, beeps and boops at Shard, and Shard, like, understands what he's saying. It's kind of this sentimental, like, you're my brother, dude, I'm not gonna hurt you. I think I'm starting to realize I don't want to be like what Eggman wants. Because I feel a kinship with you. That's more important to me than this abusive doctor that treats me like a machine. That has been a thing. I haven't talked enough about Metal because his stuff isn't really that interesting, honestly, but that has been his character arc. But yeah, Metal leaves, and interestingly, even though Sonic has totally been in Shard's corner, he's not in Metal Sonic being a good guy's corner. And this kind of pisses Shard off. Sonic kind of brings up the point that Shard has had an emotional link with him, so like he knows that he has emotions. Metal is just a machine. He doesn't have that. And Shard is literally like, how would you know? You're not a robot, dude. Which I really like. I wish that was explored more. The inherent consciousness of Eggman's robots seems to come up a lot across Sonic. I know this happens a few times in the Archie comics. Like, I know there's an arc where Shadow is trying to convince Metal Sonic not to be a bad guy. And like, literally the character E123 Omega rebelled against Eggman's programming just because he insulted his fucking ego. I wish they kind of explored like why this happened in a more literal way. And again, I know I said like not everything is literal, but this is where literalization becomes like plausible. Is there a reason why Eggman programs his robots to have consciousness? You know, there's several different ways you can do this. Is he so lonely that he feels like he has to give them consciousness, but it ends up hurting him in the end? That gets explored with Sage, his robot daughter from Sonic Frontiers. Has his lifestyle led him to be so lonely that he's gotten to this point? And he keeps doing it knowing that it's not good for him. It keeps biting him in the ass. Or is there like some kind of inherent like quintessential consciousness to all existing things that move about like a human? They could explore something like that. There are a lot of religions and philosophies that believe that everything has like a little bit of consciousness in it. That'd be really interesting to explore. Sonic's not exactly a stranger to spirituality. Like, Sonic Unleashed is about like a god of light. Like, I don't know, you could do it. Sonic 06 is about the devil. Shadow the Hedgehog, you know, is also about the devil. So Shard is murdered in the president's house. They deactivate him there. And then Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles go to attack Eggman's base. Meanwhile, Metal Sonic flies up to the president's house and goes Rambo in there. He starts fighting fucking security guards and shit. And he tries to plug Shard back in. And it doesn't seem to work. So Metal leaves. He goes back down to Eggman's base, but it doesn't really help them. What ends up happening is that part of Eggman's base that's filled with lava almost explodes. And it almost kills Sonic and Tails. And then Shard shows up and saves them. He says that it just took him a while to activate, and after it did, it took him a bit to convince the president to let him go down there and help. But then he scans the area and realizes that Metal Sonic is still trapped inside, and he goes to save him. And in a like parallel scene to the way that Metal Sonic died in the original, the new Metal Sonic doesn't want Shard to save him. And again, it's because of this weird characterization. It's not because Metal is like, you're the only Metal Sonic now or something like that. It's that in this moment, now that Metal Sonic has like realized he loves his brother, in the same way that Shard in this story didn't want to be a problem for Sonic because he was now totally a good guy and didn't want to be a risk to him, so he let himself die. That's what they said happened originally. Metal is like, I don't want to be a problem for you, Shard. And Shard's just like, don't do that. I don't think that's the stupidest direction to take this Metal Sonic in. It makes sense for this story. It's just like weird, like you're reflecting a thing that was already dumb. Like reiterating this dumb thing that happened that you should probably just ignore that you said. But Shard is like, don't do it, don't do that. Come on, we're going. And he pulls them out, he saves them. Some more shit happens with the lava, and like Sonic and Tails get trapped again, and Metal Sonic ends up saving Sonic and Tails. So he's just like a completely good guy at this point, which again, I'm like, I don't like that. They don't really like even explain why. Like, there's never a point where you see Metal Sonic go, well, my brother cares about them. It just happens. Like, it really robs Metal of any agency or any like ability to think for himself about these characters. He, for all intents and purposes, should probably still not like Sonic. Like, he's literally programmed to. It's a very quick transition that he's just a good guy now. Like, that's it. He can't be anything else. He can't have any complex feelings about this thing he was literally programmed to destroy. He can't have only fought the programming on this one thing and now be working on the next step. It's just, he's completely good now. So then there's an epilogue. The president decides that both Metal Sonic and Shard can live. Tails reprograms Metal Sonic, and then there's this point in like the epilogue part where they're talking about it, and Shard's just like, hey, so maybe you should change your name from Metal Sonic to something else now that you're a good guy. And Metal Sonic goes with Metalix, which for the uncircumcised is the name of the super evil evil, destructive version of Metal Sonic from the British Fleetway Sonic comics that like had a whole evil empire. They just chose that because that was cool, and I'm so here for it. And then Shard says, don't worry, if we want to shorten it, we'll just call you Mex, which is a choice. And then while they're talking about renaming things, because again, this is set in like old American dub Sonic like language, so they've been calling Eggman Robotnik, and Sonic goes like, well, why don't we just start calling him Eggman now since we're giving everybody new nicknames? It feels really unnatural, and it's another one of those things where it's like, I see that this fan just wanted it to align with the canon, or like wanted to like explain the canon in his version of the universe, even if it was like sloppy. Which, like, I really don't want to sound like I'm like bullying this guy or anything. That's not a bad thing. This story very much shows the like common conservative ideals around like good and evil, that it's just like a switch that gets flipped on and off. And like the good guys are all like these warriors that like work for the president, or are like basically cops and will like murder their friend if he steps out of line too much. Like that is a real worldview that people have. And that's a lot of the things with this, and that's why I wanted to talk about this fanfic. Here's the thing, so my game Knights of Airs is very, very based in leftist politics, and I am like an anarchist that just doesn't really give much credence to there being a government. And the main character, Arya, is someone that wants to become a politician, which is something that I don't even think is like really a valid job. And the story kind of explores why that is, but do you know why she's like that? It's not because I was like, this is an intelligent subversion. No, it's because I started writing this story when I was 18 and I didn't know much about the world. But what I knew was the stories that I knew. Naruto wants to become the Hokage. Attack on Titan wants to protect his society from the evil, big, scary bad guys. Sir Arthur, whose lore actually inspired quite a few parts of my story, was this noble king that protected everyone. These are the stories and the culture that I grew up in. Before I filtered myself by studying, this is who I was. I was just a fucking liberal like everyone else. I didn't understand the deeper meanings of the world around me. I didn't understand politics very well. And yet I still wanted to make shit. And the really unfortunate thing is, if you make something like that is just kind of ignorant, a lot of people will make fun of you for it. And to some degree, because of like overarching capitalist structures, there are things like Naruto, which is just a liberal manifesto, that are absurdly popular and probably influence so many people to think like that. And maybe that's genuinely kind of bad. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about it later. I think Naruto's a really good liberal manifesto, honestly. Like, Jesus, as fucking autistic as this is, if your entire personality is the politics of Naruto, I don't think you're the dumbest person in the world. But it's the same thing with fanfics, these very unrefined ideas that someone just wanted to get out there, because it's very good and healthy to get your ideas out there. And maybe we should stop bullying people for these things. I don't know. It is good to tell people like, no, you're fucking dumb. But it's really valuable to see the other side of like how some people think, especially like people that aren't very studied or refined. Because of our capitalist culture and Ayn Rand's like gaping cuckold, just whoring neoliberalism all over everyone's fucking face years after her death, everyone kind of has this idea that like, we need to become a great man. We need to be better than each other, and we don't. It's good to study more, it's good to learn more, but you don't have to be like the best artist or the best writer to be a writer. Just be a writer. You should be allowed to be wrong. It's literally why I had this video that I made, and the ending of it is fucking terrible, and honestly most of the video falls apart because I'm not a very good video essayist. I'm learning. I should be allowed to like make that mistake and make that. The unfortunate reality is that it's very easy to get defensive if you didn't do good enough, and I wish we could make a space where people are allowed to just fuck up. We shouldn't have to get like bullied off of Twitter if we say something like slightly outside of the norm. I obviously see there's like a difference in power with celebrities, which that structure needs to be fucking taken down anyway. There's a lot of problems with just the way that our society works. I hope we can restructure it so that people are allowed to just be dumb, raunchy, stupid fucking people. And I do get why we attack those people. I'm not even saying it's not necessary. In a democratic society, majority rules. No, the thing is, we're not in a fucking democratic society. We're in an oligarchy that lies about being a democracy. That's not even a new thing. They just want you to think it is. Literally look at anything about early capitalism. I really hate when people like freak out and try to cancel someone for having like a slightly different take on something like that. This happened with ContraPoints a while ago. She made her like conspiracy theory video, which was dumb. She's a dumb, stupid white bitch. There is a reason leftists and people of color have conspiracy theories, because the systems of power in place love lying to you to make you feel safe. I wish more people, instead of going like, you're fucking stupid, I don't want to fucking hear from you anymore, you're done, just went like, oh, this is a liberal mindset. Let's explore this liberal mindset. Let's take in what she's saying. You know, liberals aren't going anywhere. They're actually the most common type of person ever. You know, the people that want to maintain the shitty, crumbling society that lies to them and makes them feel safe, but also like don't want to see black people murdered in the streets all the time. That's actually a really common mindset. I'm gonna say something controversial here. Most conservatives are just liberals. Most of them aren't racist or homophobic or like evil. They're fucking idiots that are trying to preserve their safety in a broken society that does not guarantee it for anybody. The only difference is they're probably a little more willing to directly step on someone's neck. Liberals, Democrats, they want to hide that shit away. No. It's okay if that's happening in China. But yeah, I don't know. I still didn't get my floating island. That's all I really wanted. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this shit. Tell me if you know any, like, better stories that explore floating islands and Sonic or anything else. I might actually make a video going over the Archie comics. I feel like that world's gotta be fucking insane. I want to see more Sonic worlds. I love Sonic. Anyway, yeah, bye. Peace. Thanks for watching. Also, I gotta mention, that line earlier about Dan Green voicing Knuckles while naked, I can't find the tweet for this, but I did actually get him to admit that he did that. He tweeted something about, like, voicing Knuckles and how happy he was, and I said something like, didn't you used to, like, voice him completely naked without boxes? And he just said, I can neither confirm nor deny. I don't have proof of this, because it was, like, 2 Twitters ago. Like, I deleted my Twitter a while ago. I don't have this, but that was a thing. Dan Green confirmed weirdo, and we love it.